Hey guys, this is the tail tutorial everyone's been asking with. This is going to be a little bit more like tail upkeep though, because I just can't show you how to tie the knots and not go through everything. These are the two products I use the most. This Horse Salon because it's cheap and it works. Lucky Braids shampoo because it is really one of the best, I think. I will wash their tail with this first, rinse it out, and then put a little bit of the Lucky Braids in to make sure I get everything. Our subject tonight is Oobly. She's here for training, so excuse her lack of manners or misbehavior as they may come. As you'll see, she's got, hey Oobs, she has a big, beautiful tail. And Oobly here has a problem, and this is part of what we're going to talk about. Horses who rub their tails. Hey Oobs. Hey Mare. Okay. We can see here that Oobly has been rubbing her tail. I've had her here, 2 weeks as of this Saturday. And I was like, why is she rubbing her tail? There's two reasons, three I guess, your horses rub their tails. One, obviously, worms. Two, mares and geldings alike, if their stuff is dirty, it itches, and they can't itch it, so they rub their tail. Mares, their udders will be gunky and itchy. Make sure you clean their udders, and geldings, it's their sheath. So after you've wormed them, just daily routine and upkeep is to wash their goods, you know, make sure everything's rinsed out and clean and not itchy. Now Oobly here probably needs her udders washed, but that is not why her tail is itchy. Guesses? Check it out. Hey Oobs. Okay, sorry for that wonderful photo. She's wiggly because she's away from her friends. Look, her tail, her hair is wrapped all the way under her tail here. See if I can get a better shot. There we go. See, that's her tailbone. And she has hair wrapped all the way under it. It's really hard to get a good angle on this. I've got a picture of it. So that's why she's itching, aside from maybe her udders. The three reasons why they would rub their tails out, worms and dirty stuff or something literally under their tail, like she has hair. The first thing we're gonna do is wash the tail. I never ever ever brush a dirty tail. See her tail here, all this white, that's dirt from sweat and pee. And if I were to brush this, it's really brittle and it would just break. And number one, my hands won't even go through it, so why would a brush? So I'm going to wash her tail with the products we discussed, and then I will come back and show you guys the rest. But always, always brush clean tails. Now we have a wet Oobly and a very soapy tail. Guys, don't skimp on your soap. Get these tails nice and soapy, and if you have something that's leaving residue, like a mare that really potties in her tail, vinegar works good too. So now that Oobly's tail is washed, I washed it first with that first shampoo, rinsed it all out, and then rinsed it out with the Lucky Braids all-in-one. If you don't have the Lucky Braids all-in-one, it won't matter. The big deal is just that the tail is clean, and you might have to do that twice. But now that it's brushed out, or washed out, I'm gonna spray this satin sheen. This is what I use for my detangler. You can use show sheen, laser sheen, whatever you want. This is just what I can find that I like that works. Now I'm going to brush your tail out. I've soaked it with that, well, put a lot of detangler in it. And to brush them out, they suggest that you twist the tail up because it helps protect it. And always start at the bottom, just like you'd brush your own hair. Hi! You wouldn't start, you know, up here in the middle of your own hair, even though mine's pretty messy right now. You'd start at the bottom. So it's the same for the horses. And you can see that her tail is a mess. This is how a lot of them come. So again, I'm going to twist it up and start at the bottom. As you move your way up the tail, you will untwist the tail, otherwise you can't get to it. So you'll just start at the bottom, make sure there's no knots there, get it all brushed out, and then untwist a little bit. And keep moving up. If you hit a big snag, you'll want to work that out with your finger or start over, maybe spray some more detangler in it. The point is to make nice tails, not rip them all out. And you'll notice I'm standing to the side of her, just good horsemanship. I don't want to be directly behind her in case something were to scare her and she kicked. Just always remember where you're at around your horse. Okay, so I'm untwist a little bit more and move up. You'll see now we're getting into some of the big knots. This is sometimes where I break off into smaller sections. Like you can see this section of tail here is all matted. So I will break off and fix this section and go on to another one. Hi Layla! So now that can you see the end of her tail?
No.
So now that her tail's all brushed out, you see we've got much more tail, it's fluid and flowing, there's not a bunch of knots in there. I am going to do something weird. I'm going to cut the bottom off of her tail. And I know I'm tying her tail up, but for horses who don't get their tails tied up, this is very important. If their tail drags the ground, like hers does, even a little, whenever they back up or stand up from laying down or spin real fast, they step on it and they rip it out. And that's what gives it this feathered look. See how the edges of her tail are ripped off? Not quite as much as normal. It's because she's been stepping on it. So now that it's all brushed out, I'm gonna pull it down straight. Again, I'm sitting to the side of my horse and not directly behind her hocks. And I am going to trim her tail as level as I can, just about at her fetlock. And if I was going to turn her out with her tail out, I might trim it up a little bit higher, but because I'm gonna tie it up, it doesn't have to be cut as low. So I've found with my thumb here, it's about at her fetlock. I wanna pick it up, and that's how much I'm cutting off. And it's hard to get it level, but a straight line is the most important. You wanna try to get it straight. Okay, so now that that's level and cut off, you'll see it makes her tail look fuller. Now that it's hanging here, her tail looks bigger and thicker because it doesn't have that point to it. This allows the tail to hang level, and it kind of tricks our eye into thinking that there's more tail there. Now you see it's off the ground.